welcome everyone once again. Thank you for tuning in. I hope all of you are well. And guess what? It's Saturday again. And the week's almost over. Don't you think that the days are passing by really fast this time? Anyway, and people don't say Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday or Sunday anymore. They go by day 1, day 10, day 14, 30, or probably week 1, week 2. And guess what? We are currently now in week 7 already. Phase 4 of this MCO lockdown period. Isn't it so fast that the days are passing and we're already halfway through the year? Wow. Well, anyways, I hope you're doing well and I hope you're living life and not just surviving through this season. And just before we start, I'd like to ask you, what is your attitude when you're faced with a crisis? Not that this crazy pandemic has hit us hard and we're going into this new norm of social distancing. You might have received a few not so good news or nothing related to the pandemic. You probably receive a bad report from your doctor, or you probably receive a termination letter from your boss. I'm sure it must be very difficult for you and your family going through this season. And you probably found yourself asking God these classic questions. God, where are you in all this? Why me? What have I done to deserve this? I wish I was never born. Why do you allow such things to happen? Right? Today, I'd like to speak about a character in the Bible. His story teaches us and encourages us to face difficult times with a different attitude. And that person is Job. So Job is a wealthy man with a large family, and he has extensive flocks. He is blameless, upright, and always careful to avoid doing evil. One day Satan appears before God in heaven, and God boasts to Satan about Job's goodness, but Satan argues that Job is only good because God has blessed him abundantly. And Satan challenges God that if given permission to punish the man, Job will turn and curse God. And so God allows Satan to torment Job to test his bold claim, but he forbids Satan to take Job's life in the process. See, before any testing is allowed, God knows very much and believes in us. Because He is our creator, He is the author and finisher of our lives. And in the story of Job, we know that Job loses everything he had. His children, his flocks, his servants, all in one day. And not only Job and his wife are left alive. And I like to say that God really honors the vows husband and wives make at the altar. The two is now one, and therefore Job and his wife is left in this crisis. But Job never sinned when he found out that he has lost everything he had. In fact, he worshipped, he blessed the Lord. And Job again was tested, and this time he was afflicted with a horrible skin saw. And this time, Job's wife, being affected by the emotional stress of losing everything they built, and she can't stand to see her husband go through this suffering, she tells Job to curse God and die. But yet again, Job still never sinned, but he rebukes his wife, saying, "Shall we indeed accept only good from God, and not also accept adversity and disaster?" See, this is the attitude we should keep when we go through crisis. Always praising and worshiping God. I know it's easier said than done, but here's the thing. The God we serve is the God of the mountains, and He is still the God of the valley. See, while circumstances are painful and difficult, know that we are never easily broken and that we are not made fragile. But the truth is, we may get hurt easily, but we are not easily crushed. Because you and I have been refined in a fire that did not burn us. Just like how Jesus at the garden, praying before He was crucified. He was filled with so much of anguish, and the thought of being crucified caused Him to sweat blood. But that did not break Him. Simply because He knew His purpose. He knew His calling. He knew the restoration that was going to happen. And so, same with the story of Job. We know what happens in the end, where his friends threw all sorts of accusation against Job at his lowest. And God steps in and intervenes and restores back all that was lost twice as much. So if you're going through a crisis today, let's check our attitude. Don't stop praising and worshiping God even when it's hard and difficult, because God has not failed you yet. Second, know that you are not fragile. Whatever the pressure may be, or how huge the fire is, or how strong the storms, the winds, and the waves come against you, you will never shatter, you will never be burned, and you will never wreck and be broken. You are made strong to go through it, and what you've lost in this crisis, know that it's going to be restored back to you double-fold, 100-fold. I hope what was shared today touches your heart and blesses you and encourages you to go through this tough season. And if it has touched you, I would ask that you comment below. And not only that you comment below, I ask that you share this video with someone who's going through a rough period in their life. That this word may be an encouragement for them. That it will lift their spirit up once again. And that they know that they are not alone and that God is still in control. With that, I hope you stay connected with us. Tomorrow is Sunday, our celebration service. 9 a.m. for our Chinese session with Pastor Edward, and 10 a.m. our English session with Pastor Jeremiah. And there's also communion, so do prepare your emblems, a piece of bread, a cracker, wine, or ribena, or whatever you can possibly find in your kitchen. And let's partake of communion together. And we also have your kids, we're also ministering to your kids in the evening at 5 o'clock. And so we ask that you stay tuned as well. And for next Tuesday, since it's leading up towards Mother's Day, we've got an interesting interview with someone really special to me. And so I would like that you tune in as well on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Don't forget, if you know of any moms around, I ask that you send them that link and you encourage them to stay tuned to us and to be blessed by it. And so take care. Thank you for watching once again. See you.